What's up, everybody? You're listening to Salah's Corner with the one and only Salah Muhammad. So I've gone through these different periods of like trying to find new businesses to work with. Depending on the circumstances, I want to go to a business that understands my needs a little bit. And obviously, as a black man, a lot of times that means I'm looking for black business owners or at least black people who've experienced some of the things that I've gone through. And that is very hard to find, not just in Philly, but it kind of in the country a little bit as well. There isn't really a connectivity of black people when it comes to doing different things like this. So I came across Black O Philly on Instagram, and they are highlighting a lot of local businesses in the city, not just to hope that they are successful, but also to impress and understand the importance of community, the interconnectivity that we need to thrive, to support each other, and what that means as we navigate not only our spaces, but the expectation that we carry into other spaces and as we go forward. And you'll see throughout this discussion, we talk on a lot of different things, the stereotypes that we hold on black business owners and how we treat them versus how we navigate some of these white circles. And they provide me a little bit of therapy as I figure some of this stuff out. So I've had a lot of people coming to me asking me where I find the time and the space to make all of these podcasts happen. Well, I have to thank the folks at Rec Philly. They provide me the space, the equipment, and the networking capacity to make this take off. And it's not just for other podcasts. Other creative individuals use this space as well. We're talking musicians, photographers, anyone that considers themselves a creative individual. So if that's you, head over to Rec Philly. Visit them on Instagram. And if you find yourself wanting a membership, tell them Salah sent you. Do you guys go by Black O Philly, or do you like to make sure it's the Black Owned Philly?
So we go by Black Owned Philly, but for short we say BOP.
BOP.
Yep.
I like BOP. That's a good abbreviation.
Like OPP.
Black OPP. Tell us how you guys got started.
Well,
introduce yourself.
Okay,
as well.
yes. I'm Juliet Ingram. I'm Alex's mom. And the way that we got started was accidental, not intentional. While President Obama was in office for his 2 terms, and I just felt a conviction of doing something for the African American people, my community. While he was in office, we all saw what was in the hearts of people and how they were coming to the forefront. And it was kind of a mindset of, we have to take care of ourselves. And so I was kind of like, what can I do? Listening to Al Sharpton on Sunday mornings, he was encouraging people to get out in the community and be of service, do something for your community, informing, educating. And so the thought had occurred to me, it would be so nice to have a directory where we could support black businesses, find out where they are, and intentionally go and support them. I had thought about it but didn't take it any further. You're busy with life,
right,
doing things that you have to get done.
I've had a lot of ideas that just life takes advantage of you, and you gotta kind of let them go a little bit. So yeah, you
don't even have time to even think about it. It just kind of, it would keep popping up, and so, but I didn't do anything with it. So I was talking to my daughter, and I don't know how we got into the conversation, but then I shared my idea with her, and she was like, "Mom, that's a great idea."
Yeah.
And I was like, well, where am I going to find the time to do that? And so I left it alone, and then, I don't know, months later, she was doing something with it with Boston, and then they're moving with it and getting into the social media aspect of it. And so, and then she asked me, I want you to be involved because it was your idea. So that's how it got birthed.
I know personally a lot of black people, at least in my circle of friends and my networking community, that's a constant thing in their mind. It's like, how can I, or not even just how can I, like, I got to find a black business to go to because, we were talking earlier about, like, hair care. It's like, not everybody understands the texture and the necessity of taking care of black hair and the things that we need and how it's so drastically different from everybody else. Or just the, black barbershops, for example, black doctors. I know personally when, if you're trying to find a black therapist to go to, it's like, black people really want that because it's like, I don't feel comfortable sharing some inner demons with me that a person, white, nothing against them, just hasn't experienced. Not necessarily saying that everybody is that way, but I know a lot of black people feel that way. So some of the stuff that you guys are doing is speaking truth to a lot of that. Do you have some of those conversations as you start to, build this, in a sense, directory of different black businesses of like that?
Most definitely. Just even with my peer group, friends, and I'm starting my own nonprofit for girls. So it's a constant conversation of, hey, can you refer me to, even if it's like a balloon artist, something so small that, we know of the barbershops, we know of the hair salons and restaurants, we think of Country Cooking or, Rose Petals, Warm Daddies, Relish, things like that. But there's so many other businesses out there that are not on the large scale and may not have that marketing platform to get out there. So that's kind of been our goal and our passion to say, hey, you're interested? All right, how can we meet the interest and the need?
Right.
And to also piggyback off what she just said, it's also about us as the people. We tend to say when we're supporting a black business, oh, they're kind of expensive. Let's say we're looking for a black therapist. Or should I say chiropractor? There we go. Yeah. A black chiropractor.
I need one.
Exactly.
Real bad, actually.
So if we're looking for a person who is of our own color and ethnicity to provide that service for us, we don't know.
Right.
But we're so quick to run to the Caucasian, or should I say the white group, and no offense to them, and support them, and the price doesn't matter, should I say.
Right.
But if a minority chiropractor has their own practice, we're like, oh, you're expensive. We're like, well, I'm only about $10, $20 more than the white guy.
Right.
So what's the difference of you supporting me and you supporting them? And to piggyback on what she said is just trying to bring the scale of from all types of businesses into light, and showing people, hey, don't be afraid to support your own people. We're so quick to put money into Michael Kors, Burberry, but what about our brands? If we don't uplift our brands, we won't get anywhere.
I feel you, and I'd like to really dive into that thought process of the importance that we as a community put on some of those brands. But first, I want to address something you just said, and that's the haggling the black businesses. What can anybody explain that? Like, to me, like, I personally don't understand why you go into black people will only go into other black businesses and will haggle them in price, but will never do that at some of these other shops and some of these big name like retailers or clothing lines or colognes or any type of product that they're shopping for. What can you have an explanation for that?
It's respect.
Yeah.
We were I was just looking at a program on PBS about it's called Boss, the Black Business Experience, I think. And it was it was a 2-hour program talking about the black businesses starting after slavery. And we don't respect ourselves. We have the mentality that has been taught to us, because that is inherent in this country from day one, that we are less than and we are under and we don't know what we're talking about and we can't meet the standards of the Caucasian or the white community. And so we are constantly, and we believed it.
Yeah.
We believed the lie. And so we don't respect ourselves. And that's where that comes from, because my husband, we own Ingram's Plumbing, a black business, and he has shied away from publicizing that because he will not get the support. He would not get the support of other black people because they don't think that black people can do just as quality and work as the white man. They don't have anything more over us. They make the same mistakes we made, and so that's something that's been put in our heads. And BOP can be an avenue of promotion, and the important thing is supporting your own, because nobody else will do it. If you don't do it, who's going to support us?
Right. And it's to say, I had a conversation with one of my cousins as to why is it more fluent that you guys go ahead and support the white business and haggle the black business. One thing she said was, well, sometimes I may not like the quality or the product that the black business may have. But I'm like, well, have you ever had a time where you didn't like the quality or product that the white business had? She's like, yeah. But I was like, did you purchase it? She was like, yeah. I was like, why? I was like, you just paid for the brand. Just because it said or Versace or Gucci, you paid for it. But you come to our store and say, well, you guys are too much. My $25 is too much compared to that $25 shirt. What's the difference? It's the same line, same product, same country it came from. Right. And I just asked, I'm like, why do you guys do that? Or why do we do that? And she was like, I don't know. She's like, it just comes second nature. We always think that our own people is trying to hustle us or trying to get over on us. And I hear the term hustle a lot. It's like, we're not here to hustle you. We're here to actually provide for our community and provide for the culture because we know more about the culture. You're one of us. Right. And she admitted that she has haggled a few times due to the fact that she thought, hey, you're my own people. You should give me a deal or a discount. But I don't think that's kind of fair because we don't go into the white store, the white man's store, and be like, hey, can I get a discount on this for any reason? They're going to look at you. I'm a place of business. Yeah.
A lot of it is the experience or the prior experience we have with businesses. And I do think a lot of us in the black community can agree, like, we go into a black business and it's like they're late, they're moving slow with an attitude, unprofessional. And I've seen that. Now, I'm not going to put all black businesses in that category. Right. But I think because we see that once or twice, then we're quick to assume, like, well, I tried, I'm done, I'm not doing it anymore. But you'll go to a white restaurant and talk to the manager 3 times, and you will still go back to that restaurant. Yes. So that's where the boundary line of any place you go to, there's going to be unprofessionalism. There's going to be someone moving slow. Someone's going to have an attitude no matter what they look like. But we have a higher expectation for our own people. So we think like, oh, I'm here, I'm trying to support you, so you should have a better attitude. No, if you're going to go support. Don't go in there with the expectation of, I'm here, like you need me kind of thing. Right. So the whole notion of just leaving the past in the past, and if you're going into a new place of business, allow them that opportunity to provide you good customer service.
I feel you there, and let's go back to that. The point you made, Boston, about the attachment to the brands and to the name, and that's something that it makes me think back to one of my favorite movies, for better or worse, is Godfather. And there's a scene in the movie, I can't remember if it's 1 or 2. They were talking about how they were using black drug dealers because all they care about is driving Cadillac cars, fancy cars. And it's just like, man, like even back then in the 70s when The Godfather was coming up, there is this idea that black people truly only care about the brand, the name brand of something. I got the Cadillac of this, or I got the Versace and the Ballberry. We can't even say the name correctly, and we sporting it like it's crazy. I guess I feel like I'm asking you guys these questions like you're my therapist. What is that? Like I don't get it. I work in, I'm a manager in retail, and I see the people come in and they're shopping those designer brands, and I know that those designer brands do not have our interests. We've seen the Gucci, was it the Gucci monkey bag that came out, and the H&M with the monkey shirt, and yet we still in there giving them our business and not thinking twice about, like, they're just using the dollar to perpetuate a stereotype about you, and we're buying into it. What is your experience when it comes to that idea?
I look at athletes. You just look at the NBA.
Yeah.
And you get a 19, 20, 21-year-old come into the NBA. They get that nice check, right? And then what do most do with it? They go out, they buy their mama house, get a car, they go to the club and just spend it
All out.
And if they have their homies with them, they all get in, and they're paying stuff for them.
Yeah.
So it's a mentality. I think a lot of us in the black community is like, well, I didn't have that growing up, so now that I have it, whether they have it or have it,
Right.
I'm going to go out and get what I want. And then I think with the black community, it's like, well, if you see me stunting, then you think I have it.
Right.
So I have to portray that every time I go out. Like, if you look at black people, we'll go anywhere. We got to throw the sneaks on and have this on. And it's like, you go to HBCU, they're all dressed to the T.
Yeah.
You go to a PWI, and they're in pajamas and hoodies. And you don't know how much that money, Bill Gates.
Right.
He wears a regular suit, and he's making more than a lot of people.
Right.
But the black person has to have on the big chains and stuff like that. So I think it has a place of, like, not having it initially, and now I have it. Now no one can tell me anything how I want to, handle my money.
But I also think it's what the black entertainment industry is also putting forth, as far as the rappers, the celebrities, and being as though we do have the African American community and celebrities who don't portray that. But let's say you got 2 Chainz, 50 Cent, all of them. They walk into clubs or even outside. What are you doing with a chain this big? Or you're being as though, let's say, Michael Kors or whoever is paying you to wear their belongings, but you're advertising and flaunting a little more. Yeah, a little more. Exactly.
Good one.
A little more heavily than we should. How about sporting, a black-owned business who sell watches and whatnot? So, the younger kids coming up, or even, I guess, people my age, their age as well, we think, oh my gosh, they got it, let's wear it as well. So I would say what the entertainment is also putting forth.
And to clarify, like, you guys aren't just talking about, and like I never even thought about it in that perspective. You guys aren't just talking about, like, don't go out there wearing a gold chain. Like, wear one that's for, like, that's out there, if not black owned, supporting black people, that's willing to support black people. So you can be as flashy and flaunty as you want to be, but do it in the since you do represent, whether you want to or not, since you do hold some type of status in our community, do it in a way that represents us and represents the community you come from and the people you represent.
So Chrisette Michelle, she sang at the inauguration of Trump.
Yeah, she took heat.
And I look at it from 2 perspectives. People look at it, well, you're singing for Trump and you're not invited to the cookout, kind of thing.
Right.
And then you have the person, I heard her reasoning, and she was like, you didn't even realize the skirt that I wore. And it was from a black owned artist, and the design was like Black Power.
Yeah.
But no one saw that. So just you sharing that example of, like, rocking a black owned brand. Yes, are we a little iffy about her singing at Trump's inauguration? She got a seat at the table on some level, and she used it to her advantage. But I don't think many people looked at it that way. Not saying I agree to her singing, but I think she really got a bad rep. But she was looking at it from a whole nother perspective, where the average person is just like, nope, you're singing for Trump, we're crossing you off.
Okay, I have a question. And I don't usually, this isn't a typical area that I dive into, but I feel as though you 3 are good to have this conversation. And when we talk about business and you talk about having a seat at the table, I immediately think of the Jay-Z and NFL deal. And I'm going to do this in a way where I don't dissect this whole thing, because I think it's very convoluted. So essentially Jay-Z got a deal. For people who don't know, Jay-Z got a deal with the NFL to, partner Rock Nation to basically do halftime shows and exclusive events, and they have to go through Rock Nation for that. That's fantastic. It's great. At the same time, I know there was some talk about some type of programs where they address black issues in the community and stuff like that. Great. I think that was a power move by Jay-Z. He's a black business owner, and he does speak to black issues and things like that. But I think what makes it a little convoluted, and I think it's very similar with the Chrisette Michele thing, is it kind of morphed. The whole Colin Kaepernick situation kind of morphed because it wasn't just about him kneeling because of Black Lives anymore. It was about him also being blackballed at the same time, from a job. So from a business perspective, yes, we have a seat at the table, in the future, but in the current, it's still a penalty to this individual who still to this day can't play in the NFL. Like, as those who are navigating this space of promoting black businesses, I guess I'm the question really is how do we reconcile as a community? How do we reconcile those conflicts when we do want to see it at the table, because the majority of professional athletes are black, especially in the NFL. But at the same time, we also want to hold you accountable for blackballing, when we speak to our issues at the same time. What do you guys think of that?
It's tough because, I was born in 1960, mm-hmm. and so everything was black and white. And
yes.
Everything was clear cut, what was right, what was wrong. And I'm kind of old school. And now with my daughter's Boston generation coming up and then their kids, everybody's looking at everything completely different. Mm. And so it's hard to just be black and white and stick with one thing, and then anything else that doesn't agree with it, you exit out.
Right.
Because you can see the points on both sides.
Yeah.
I can see Jay-Z saying, well, I'm getting my name, my brand, and I'm putting black people in, I'm getting them work, putting money in their pocket, and the groups that he is supporting by doing what he's doing. So this is good for black business and our black community. But then someone else looks at it at the expense of Kaepernick and what he was standing for.
Right.
So I think to try to make it black and white and have it's not going to work. You have to respect what Kaepernick is doing, and you respect what Jay-Z is doing. Mm. And those that want to support Kaepernick, go all out and not make it a battle, because a lot of times when we do things, we end up battling each other because two people are doing things different. And what comes to my mind is Spike Lee and Tyler Perry. And Spike Lee, he had a way of doing things.
Yes.
And Tyler Perry had a completely different way. And I can respect both ways, but that's the beauty of our community, because we come at it from we are creative, and we come at it from different places, and both of them have done great things for us. Let's not look at it as a negative. Let's look at it as a positive, and we should not be, that's what, the white man has done in the past, done things to put us against each other, and we're tearing each other down.
They are very successful at that.
Yes,
very
successful.
Yes.
And so why feed into that?
Yeah.
Everyone has a right to their opinion, even though we may not agree with it. And how can we work together? Agree to disagree. and you do your thing. Tyler Perry does his thing, and Spike Lee does his thing, and not try to make it a standard and get mad at people when they don't fall in under what you think is the only right way.
I just thought of an amazing way Jay-Z could rectify the situation. On the off chance he's listening. Highly off chance that he's listening.
We'll take him.
Never know, B.
You never know. Hire Colin Kaepernick as the ambassador for Rock Nation.
Oh, wow.
And make the NFL work out the deals.
To the
Oh,
T.
that would be something.
Right?
That would be perfect.
That'd be a serious
here's the
power
thing
move.
too. Here's the thing as well. Like Jay-Z is very strategic.
Yes.
So we don't even know what he has next.
Right.
So, you know, our generation, our society right now, you know, everything's on social media. So as soon as
Yeah.
an interview is released, then there's thousands of comments. Everyone has an opinion. Everyone's talking about him or agreeing with them. And it's like, you guys don't have a clue of what's being talked about behind camera.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know what him and Beyonce have going on.
Yeah.
And you don't know how he might incorporate Kaepernick in the long, like, he can't do it now, but he might do it like next year.
Right.
So it's almost like, give him a chance. I think he's there. Y'all, who else is doing something?
Right.
Because everyone has an opinion, but what are you doing about it? He's actually like moving his feet.
Yeah.
So
That's a very fair point, and you know, I think because it is, you know, tensions have been high on this topic for a while. You know, a lot of people are emotionally invested into not just those who are passionate about it, not just Colin Kaepernick, but also like making sure that we as a community come out in a positive in this situation. So I think more than anything, that is something that we as a community should coalesce around, is like, okay, how do we continue to move the ball and come out positive in this situation?
Kaepernick, there had to be a sacrificial lamb.
Yeah,
in order,
there always is.
Because what he did, it took courage, and look what it stirred up.
Yeah.
Look, the discussions that are being held is causing people to think.
The attention.
And that's what in our community we need, because we're so used to just reacting and doing what has been told to us to do. And so, you know, I look at it in the positive, like it's people are talking, and then it's unveiling the true feelings of everybody.
Yeah.
It's exposing. And someone had to do it, and he was going to take the hit. Somebody was going to take the hit. But I think it was worth it, and he knew what he was doing when he decided to do that.
Absolutely.
And then, you know, in the I know it was the Pan American Games. I don't know if it was a boxer or there were a couple young people standing up and kneeling and doing the same thing for what they believe in. So it's good all the way around.
It is, and you know, and I truly believe in the long run, regardless if Kaepernick can play in the NFL again, he's moving in a direction that he truly will be successful and continue to be, especially with his deal with Nike and everything. So let's flip back to BOP, and let's talk about essentially the directory that you guys are creating. How can I, as a very, very, very young black man, despite what anyone says, can find some of the businesses that you guys are highlighting?
So, well, first, let's talk about our mission.
Yes.
So our mission is to educate consumers and build connections with black-owned businesses in Philadelphia, thereby strengthening economic development in the city. So that's like who we are and our purpose. In doing that, we want to be Philly's leading marketing platform for black-owned businesses. So we're working, you know, things are still under construction, but right now we're working on a platform and building our website where people can search by zip code or category of business. So if you're looking for a chiropractor, restaurant, balloon artist, event space, they can look at the category and especially by zip code because we have to think practical. If I'm in Mount Airy, Germantown area, I'm probably not going to spend my money in South Philly.
Right.
And vice versa. So we want to make sure it's simple and user friendly. We're in a lazy generation, so people don't want to do too much clicking, and people will ask a question and just didn't read.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, absolutely.
So just having a user friendly platform, and they can just boom, like 19120, look it up. Okay, I'm looking for this place, and boom. So it's for locals, but also for tourists too. So if someone's visiting Philly, they want to continue to support Black owned. They don't have an excuse not to.
Yeah.
So they can use a platform as well, and then obviously marketing platform for businesses.
I like that idea, especially from the tourism aspect, because I am a former hospitality manager as well in a previous life, and that's something that like I used to hear and see from people that were coming to visit the city. They wanted to be connected with some local Black businesses, and that directory, that access just wasn't there. I'm talking back in 2012, 13. So it's beautiful that you guys are creating that. But the one thing that I fear, and I think about this when it comes to a lot of very like innovative Black businesses, and I liking it to, I'm not sure how old you guys are, but Black Planet. Mm-hmm. And like that was the first, like, one of the first like social media platforms. And we really kind of innovated how we engage and what the realm of social media was going to look like. I mean, Black Twitter is Black Planet, right? Like that the success of Twitter exists because the individuals who were in that early stages of Black Planet that was making their pages popping. I don't know if you guys have been.
I didn't have a Black Planet account, but the people around me would always talk about it, so I know.
My Black Planet account was on fire. But like the success of that, has catapulted into the success of Twitter, which is obviously not Black owned now, and now Black Planet is obviously defunct. So how are you guys? Is that something that you guys are considering? Is how do we stay relevant and prevent, this unique thing that we're creating for Black people to not be taken over, or revamped and redone and whitewashed in a way where we stay relevant?
I think honestly, it's more being active in the community.
Yeah.
I'm sure you heard of Spurgo.
Yeah.
The 13-year-old kid who created his own little brand. Not little, should I say? Don't take it literal.
Yeah.
Is by us being more active. Is hey, here's a young man being as though he already got his own exposure.
Right.
But let's say we have multiple children in his age realm who are starting their own brand, own restaurant, own cooking. Just like how P. Michael's doing with the barber hair. Oh my gosh. The haircut with the barbershops for the little guys, little kids, should I say? Oh my gosh. It's by being more prominent, more active within them. Yeah. And I think that's what's going to kind of keep us going. And also acknowledging the existing businesses that have been around for quite some time, but being more active in the community and making sure that the young ones coming up know, hey, your own people have something as well. Don't think what you're being shown on TV is just that. Yeah. Just know, hey, we're here as well, and we could provide, if not better, what they're offering on television.
I like that. So, the website is in work. However, what's the social media handles?
Social media is @Black Old Philly.
Yeah.
Facebook is just Black Owned Philly. Try Black Owned Philly on IG, but I think someone already had it. Yeah. But that's where to find us on social media.
And then to reiterate, is @Black Old Philly, which is BLACKO Philly. Because sometimes people can be like, oh, Black Old Philly, like OWE.
Gotcha. Thank you guys. Thank you. I love this conversation. This was great.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for stopping by. Thanks.
Thank you.
Very special thanks to Black Owned Philly for joining me on the podcast. Make sure you follow them on Instagram. That is BLACKOPHILLY. Support them. They are highlighting some great businesses that are out there, and their mission really is not just about making sure we are uplifting some of these businesses, but we give them the same respect that we give to every other business and every other demographic as we navigate their circles. And I think that's incredibly important. Do we hold ourselves at that high esteem that we hold other races to and other ethnicities? Do we give respect to those black businesses and respect for their dollar, their hard-earned work, their time, and energy that they put to make themselves successful and provide for their families and just try to live to their full potential? So check them out on Instagram. Again, that is Black O Philly. And then thank you, as always, for always reaching out and subscribing to the podcast. Make sure you leave a review on Apple Podcasts. That's Salah's Corner on Apple Podcasts. You can always email me at realtalk@salahscorner.com. Salah's Corner is recorded out of Rec Philly. It is a space for creative individuals. It is produced by producer extraordinaire Bree Wilson and features music from Prod by Delgado. For more of my work, please visit salahscorner.com. And until next time, peace, y'all.